Hi, I am Sven. I'm a member of Sjorvaldar Vikings, and today I'm here to talk to you about Viking trade and commerce. There are numerous hoards and finds in Scandinavia and mainland Europe consisting of silver items, thousands upon thousands of coins, thousands of bracelets and bangles, rings, ingots, foreign and domestic to the Vikings in Scandinavia. We can start with coins. What we have here are several different examples of coins that have been found in Viking Age hoards. Each of them is paired, meaning it is just the opposing side of the coin. These two up here are from Hedeby, which is nowadays in Germany, but in the Viking Age was a large Danish trading settlement near the coast. The Danes tried to, from what we can tell, establish their own coinage system in their locality in Hedeby, but it did not end up taking off. But we do have quite a few finds of these specific style of coins. These two are two different types of Arabic dirham, which have been found in Viking hoards. The dirham was a very widely circulated currency and a very widely recognized one. Both of them have Islamic script on it. These are the Umayyad Caliphate, and these are the Abbasid Caliphate. Two different caliphates that operated in the Middle East during the Viking Age. These are Byzantine coins, and this gets very complex because they had very many coins and they changed it constantly, specifically with each new emperor, of which they had many. These two coins are examples of English pennies. This is the Eric the Blood Axe penny, and this is the Citric penny. So what you just saw was one way of striking a coin. Sources and finds are scarce regarding how the Vikings actually did it, but there are only so many ways it could have been done. In the Middle Ages, there are tapestries that were made showing how coin minters performed the task, and often enough you had large blocks that they sat on with a smaller anvil in place. And it looks as if they take it and they're tapping it rhythmically. The way that this is set up, the coins would be misprinted if I were to do that, so doing one solid strike is able to yield the results that we need. There are many different types of coins that have been found in these hoards. Most of them are foreign, and the funny thing about them is that they have no value as far as what they were worth in the country of their origin. To the Vikings, they were only worth their weight in silver. So you would end up finding coins cut up into halves and into quarters, and you might even find smaller slivers and fragments, ingots and bracelets cut up into pieces, all to satisfy a weight when making trade. So as a Viking and as a trader, you would go to a market or someplace to conduct business, and you would have to do your research to find out the market value of certain things. And you could be trading as well in beads. Vikings were very, very fond of beads, and amber. But back to the coins. What would happen is, let's say you wanted to buy a certain number of glass beads, and I would give you your price. So you would either present me with your items, or you would present me with your silver. So if you wanted to purchase a certain number of beads or amber chips, for example, I would give you the number and you would present your silver, and it could be in the form of ingots, it could be in the form of a bracelet, or you could have a miscellany of coins. So we would end up cutting them up. One of the things that somebody would encounter in a situation like this is how to tell the trustworthiness of a merchant's weights. So what you could do is you could take a very well-known coin, such as the dirham. And the dirham comes from the Arabic caliphates, and it was at the time one of, if not the longest standing currency in the world. So it had a very uniform weight and style, as could be hoped for in that time period, considering they were all made by hand and not machined as we would do today. So you could take one, and I know that my small weights weigh as much as 1 1/4 of a dirham. And it's very, very close. It's important to remember that the people who make these replicas are doing it off of a distant number and a hard to find number. So the fact that he was able to get these as close as he did to the correct weight is phenomenal. So we could test it further by adding a second small weight and adding another 1 1/4 of a dirham. And again, very, very close. So back in the Viking Age, that would be one way to determine whether a merchant's weights were valid. Another problem that you would run into was the purity of silver, because some people would try to counterfeit coins and ingots and fill it with impurities such as lead or pewter, and what that would do is increase its weight but diminish its value. So it was not uncommon to find coins with prick marks in it, because you could tell by a darkened color whether or not it was silver. If it was silver, it would be bright, shiny like silver. If not, you might see darkened metal inside. These are the two bangles that I have that are based off of finds from the Orkney Islands, which were held by the Norse during the Viking Age. This one is a replica of a bracelet found on Gotland, and the Vikings would call them ring money. So they would wear them as decorative pieces, but it was called ring money for the obvious. You could take it and you could take your knife and cut pieces off of it to do the same and satisfy a trade. Oftentimes you'll end up finding broken or twisted pieces of hack silver, such as this. And hack silver is another common thing that was found in hoards, and it is literally miscellaneous pieces of silver items, coins, ingots, cut up into pieces. It's still worthwhile, but you would often break it up to make it a little easier for transport. Ingots. You would often find these. You notice that they have this bumpy texture surface to it, and what that means is that you would often, you could take a finger, make a depression in the sand, find a dish or something to hold over the fire to melt down your silver, which has a fairly low melting point, and then you can pour it into the depression that you've made, and once it's cooled, take it out and dust the sand off, and you have an ingot. So if you have too much hack silver, too many small pieces, that is one way to condense it into an easier to carry package. The science of history and living history and reenactment as it is constantly based on new discoveries, which we are having every year. It doesn't happen very fast sometimes, but occasionally you have a spree of new findings and discoveries and things that kind of check what we think to be correct, and so you have to figure it out, and money is a difficult one. So this is how we understand a Viking economy to have worked roughly. Obviously there are a lot of points that I didn't go over. It's a difficult subject to learn, and we're learning more every day. I hope that this information gives you, I guess, a clearer idea of what the Vikings were like, kind of helps dispel further the misconception that they were barbaric and uncultured, because in the time period and the day, they were very civilized, very cultured, and had very complex systems for how to do things. I look forward to seeing you all at one of our events, or even at one of yours, to talk about this further. We love questions, and we can't wait to hear them from you.